Hey everyone, so you saw all of the flavor shots in the intro, and this dish is just absolutely incredible. It's called Nihari, and it's a dish that is popular in both India and Pakistan, and has been requested for me to make several times, and I'm so glad that I did because it's absolutely divine. It's so tasty, and it's a perfect dish that you can make and share. You can make it ahead of time. And it's quite simple to make at home. Now, the recipe portion of this video is gonna be pretty short because it's literally not long at all. However, I do wanna talk about how you can adapt this to exactly how you want it for your home kitchen. So let's break it down.
Nihari is a popular street food that is dished up with a centerpiece of meat surrounded in a spice gravy with oil over the top. And according to the Hindustan Times, it was originally meant to be eaten in the morning during cold weather, but it seems that there are also shops open late into the night now. The dish is served in this kind of communal, hands-on fashion with naan or some other type of Indian bread. And what makes it special is both the succulent meat and the slightly thick and spiced sauce that surrounds it. Now, each region, restaurant, and family are going to have their slight variations on their Nihari. However, the cooking mechanics and components are quite simple, and I'll show you how this can be easily adapted to your home kitchen. First and foremost, it's braised meat, which is cooking a meat in a liquid for an extended time. Just about every cuisine has at least one popular braised meat dish. In the States, you may see pot roast. In France, maybe it's red wine braised short ribs. And in India and in Pakistan, apparently one of the most popular is Nihari, which is usually made with lamb or mutton. The basic timeline looks like this. First, pick a piece of meat with plenty of connective tissue. Secondly, brown the meat with aromatics like garlic and onions. Third, add Nihari masala and other spices. 4, braise it in a liquid until tender. 5, thicken the gravy, serve it and pour spiced hot oil over top, add your fresh garnishes, devour with roti, fulka, naan, or whatever you want. And from a flavor perspective, the two big variables that are going to influence how your Nihari turns out is the piece of meat that you choose and what spices are used in the Nihari masala. For the meat choice, most traditional recipes and videos online use lamb or mutton shank, which is from the leg, but you'll also see beef shank like in Mark Wien's Pakistani video, in addition to things like brains. However, if you break this meat choice down even further, the key thing that you want in the cut of meat you choose is plenty of collagen or connective tissue, because this is what provides the succulent and kind of unctuous texture in both the meat and the gravy. How? Let's break it down. As mentioned in On Food and Cooking, in order to achieve falling apart tenderness in meat, it must get up to around 160 degrees Fahrenheit or 70 degrees Celsius. At this point is where the collagen begins to dissolve into gelatin, and it gets this jelly-like consistency that provides that succulence that we know and love in slow-cooked meats. Now, understanding this is where knowledge becomes power. So if you were going for a more traditional route, reach for the lamb or beef shank, but there are also a plethora of other cuts that are great for braising and would work for this dish to provide that signature sauce and meat texture. So here's a short list that you can use to gather some ideas for depending on what you can get or find. And if you are looking to procure some high quality meats for braising or any activity, let me introduce you to my friends at Porter Road who are sponsoring today's video. Porter Road is an online butcher shop that delivers high-quality meat directly to your front door. It was founded by chefs and butchers Chris and James on a mission to fix a broken food system by using things like regenerative agriculture and humane animal husbandry with their local farmers. For cooking purposes, the best part is they hand-cut each piece of meat, which gives us countless cuts that we know and love, but they also have several ones that can be hard to find at the grocery store. I use their lamb shanks and beef ossobuco in today's Nihari dish, but there are countless great options that you can select a la carte, just like if you were going to the butcher shop. Oh, and if you like saving money, all my viewers will get $20 off their first order over $100 by using the link below, which will apply automatically. So take advantage, pick up some meats, and taste the difference at Porter Road. Now, let's talk about the second main variable, the Nihari masala. So when you hear the term masala, that basically just means spice mixture. It could be powdered form or it could be a paste. Many of us are familiar with garam masala, which according to Madhur Jaffrey is typically a mix of cardamom, black peppercorn, cumin seed, coriander seeds, and whole cloves ground to fine. From what I've seen, Nihari masala is really up to the cook or the region, and here are 3 sources for spices used in Nihari in addition to mine, and each of these do have fairly different amounts used, so I'll leave the links in the description if you want to check them out. The black cardamom may be a little bit hard to find at your local grocery store in the States at least, but the others should be readily available for toasting and fresh grinding. So just remember that the meat choice and the spices are really those key variables that can be adjusted to fit for your home kitchen. And one day I will travel to sit down for some Nihari, but in the meantime, here's my at-home version, which is quite easy. It takes time, but most of it is inactive time. To start, place the lamb shank and also buko on a wire rack and sprinkle salt over the exterior. Now I'm just going to set this in the fridge uncovered to dry brine for at least 2 hours, though you could go up to a day or more. And meanwhile, let's prep the Nihari masala. To a pan, add 2 tablespoons of cumin seeds, 2 tablespoons of fennel seeds, about half a tablespoon of coriander seed, 10 cloves, a cinnamon stick, 5 green cardamom pods, and 1 black cardamom pod. Then place this on the stove and toast lightly until it starts to smell fragrant. Add the toasted spices to a mortar and pestle and remove the husk of the green and black cardamom pods, and then grind everything to a fine powder. Once it's ground, add a tablespoon of red chili powder and grate in some nutmeg to round out the spice mix. And it is just unbelievable at how good this smells when you do it fresh yourself. Next, grate 3 cloves of garlic, a 1-inch knob of ginger, and thinly slice a 1/4 of an onion, and then let's brown the salted meat. Set a Dutch oven over medium-high heat and add about 2 tablespoons of ghee or a neutral oil. Then once hot, add the meat pieces and brown as best you can on all sides. Set the brown meat aside on the wire rack and then turn the heat down to low and toss in the garlic, ginger, and onion along with 3 bay leaves, 2 tablespoons of the prepared Nihari masala, and a spoonful of turmeric, and then saute for about 30 seconds, being careful not to burn. Next, toss in a spoonful of plain yogurt to mix in with the spices, then add the meat pieces back in to coat the exterior. The last thing to do is pour water over top about 3/4 of the way up, leaving a little bit exposed so it browns while it's in the oven. Then put the lid on, leaving it partially off so the liquid does not boil right away, and toss it into a 250-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 4 to 5 hours, and that's it. Just sit back and relax. During this time, the collagen will break down in the meat, becoming tender, and also the fat will render out and start to create a layer on top. This shot is from about 2 hours in. You can see the meat is starting to pull away from the bone, and I like to flip the pieces of meat once or twice just to avoid drying out the partially exposed spot. While that's continuing to braise, it's a perfect time to make some naan or roti, and I'll link my video on roti, or you can check out Babish's video for naan with Floyd Cardoz. And I just kind of whipped up an all-purpose dough and threw it on my cast iron to brown up, and the key here is to get it a little crisp, which will be perfect for soaking up that delicious sauce later on. 4.5 hours later, the meat should be done, and you want to test it with a fork. It should break apart easily, but still hold its shape. Also, the marrow from the osso buco makes a delightful treat to stir into the sauce. Remove the stewed meat to a plate, and let's finish this thing. So if we take a look into the bowl, you'll see that layer of fat that has separated on top, and you want to remove this to a glass or bowl, and this will be heated up later on and poured over the top. With the fat removed from the sauce as best you can, add 30 grams of wheat flour and 100 grams of water to a bowl and stir it until combined. This mixture will be used to provide a bit of flavor and also thicken the sauce. Set the Dutch oven back over medium heat and pour in the flour water mixture. Stir it and let it come to a bubble, and let the sauce thicken to your desired liking. Now before assembling the dish, we need some garnishes. So julienne some ginger, thinly slice some green chilies, chop cilantro, and have some limes into a bowl. Now to actually serve the dish, add a spoonful of the thickened gravy, then place a piece of the lamb shank right in the center, spoon over some of the hot oil, and admittedly I use a lot less than the typical street food preparation it seems, and then hit that with your fresh ginger, the cilantro and chilies, get the Indian bread of your choice, and it is now time to consume.
All right, everybody, it's taste test time. I've been absolutely salivating over this. This stuff is seriously so addicting, and I feel like it's as much about the sauce as it is about the meat. Just like soaking up this sauce, which is some of the naan bread. And then this meat just absolutely flakes apart. It's incredible. I mean, just get a good look at this meat. It absolutely just flakes and peels apart. Absolutely incredible. So I don't know more else to say. This just is, it's comforting. It's a little bit fatty, it's unctuous. The sauce is nice and thickened up. The meat is just so tender and fall apart, again, from just letting it braise long enough. That's the key, just enough time for that collagen to break down to the gelatin. And then pairing that with the fresh components, you know, ginger, lime, cilantro. And then I love the hands-on aspect of eating it with the, you know, the naan breads, which are, you know, these are super easy. You could just buy pitas or something if you wanted to, but it is really easy to just make some at home. Or you could make the roti, I have a video on that, or a variety of other Indian breads, or I mean, just serve this over rice. It's an incredible dish that can be eaten many ways. So I hope you guys try it, and I would highly, highly, highly recommend, if you can find lamb shanks, use lamb shanks. It's incredible. I've done this a couple times. I did one with chuck roast when I initially started this. Then I've done lamb shanks. This is my second time using lamb shanks. The ossobuco is really good. The beef ossobuco is still a shank. But yeah, if you can get lamb shanks, like check out Porter Road. I would highly, highly recommend it. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. My recipe will be up on my website if you guys wanna follow my exact version. But again, remember those kind of variables that I talked about earlier to adapt this to your own kitchen. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.